Year 7 starts Friday night against the Samford team that's returning a lot of players. It's a senior-oriented team, returning the bulk of its scoring from last year. Two all-conference type players with another guy that's almost third. You know, the Cunningham kid is the guy that runs the show for this basketball team. Uh, Chambers is a kid that can shoot the basketball. The Walker kid is a double-double. I think he was a sophomore last year and a really good basketball team. So it's a deep team, coached by Scott Paget, a guy that played at Kentucky, played in this building a few times while he was at Kentucky, played for, I think, Coach Patino and maybe Tubby there. So it's a team that they really can shoot the basketball. And if you look at some of the stats from our exhibition, we didn't do a very good job of guarding guys on the perimeter. So of course, that's going to be our main objective, is to make sure we run guys off the three-point line and keeping them off the glass as well. But we are more interested in what we're doing, and that is defensively creating some havoc, making it difficult for a very good Samford team coming in. So it's the first game of the season. You don't know how your team's going to come out, but I'm sure our guys are excited about playing, having someone to play, and it's for keeps now. There's no free games now, so that means possessions. You want efficient basketball. You want guys playing quality minutes, not just quantity minutes. And our bench has got to be, I think, figure in with our basketball team. I think it's the most important component on our basketball team. So as we get into this time of the year, it's exciting, and we're looking forward to it. Again, a very good basketball team that we're going to really have to do a good job of defending and hopefully creating tempo.
You guys want to raise your hand? We got a mic there. Sorry.
Mike, you mentioned the bench. Has anything happened with any of the guys that were out with suspensions or medical stuff? And is everybody else healthy and ready to go?
Everybody's healthy, very much as we played in the exhibition game. The guys will be playing. Cook's still out. As of right now, Dustin Thomas, we know he's not playing, and Khalil. So the guys that played in the exhibition game will move forward. So as I said, our bench is going to have to really come on for our basketball team. In the exhibition game, those guys played a lot of minutes, and they'll probably be playing a lot of minutes in the regular season game as well. But again, I think we're looking forward to putting combinations out on the floor that's going to hopefully make things difficult for Samford.
A lot of times teams will open up with kind of a cupcake. These guys obviously aren't a cupcake. How did you do that on purpose to play a challenging team, or just what do you think about opening up against a pretty solid team?
Well, I don't ever think teams are cupcake. I mean, you look at whether it be college basketball, football, it does not matter. Baseball. Teams can play. Everybody got scholarship players, and with transferring of players to certain programs, I mean, these teams are just as good as some of the, if you line up and talk about talent on talent, some of these teams are just as good. So you can't look at the names. But when you talk about a Samford team, without a doubt, they're picked to win their league. And so it's a challenge for us to start off, but we find out a lot more about our basketball team. Having, 6 seniors on your team, obviously 4 will be playing, but this is, I think, a schedule that's a challenge for this type of team. And we find out real quick where we are because of, as you move on down that schedule, the next game, the PK80, you're playing those types of teams. So we jump right into it, and for players, I'm sure they like playing against teams, good teams, and so we start off right off the bat playing against an excellent team in Samford.
Obviously, you guys like to play fast and with pace. Does having maybe only 8 guys affect how much you press or can play as fast with guys like having to play like into 30 minutes or so?
Well, the press, obviously, we want to disrupt, but I think there's different ways. You can still play fast. You can still play half-court defense and play fast. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the pressing style. And I thought we were one of those teams last year. I mean, we didn't press as much last year. I think we averaged almost 75. I don't know how many points we averaged, but there were nights when we shot it well, and our defense was really good. We scored in the 80s. But as I said, once we get people in this building here, we obviously want to get our fans involved in it. And there's a style of play that excites fans here. And not only excites fans here, it excites us too. And if we're doing the things that we're supposed to do, and that is causing disruption, the pace can speed up. So I'm sure Samford will want to control the tempo. They play a lot of zone, so it's a team that we're going to have to make shots. We're going to have to make shots, but more importantly, we're going to have to defend.
I don't know if you're ready to comment on the guys who have signed, since they all haven't signed yet, but if not, could you just talk about the class in general and what this class will provide?
No, once we get everything, we'll talk about it all at once about the class. First, I want to say our staff, I set a charge with them in terms of identifying guys that fit what we want to do. And I think so as you talk about what type of players that we're wanting in our program, we're losing 6 guys, and so you got to be able to bring in quality guys, guys that fit the culture. And so with that class, I think we identified some guys, and hopefully when I get a chance to talk about them, I can maybe be a little bit more in detail, but we feel it's going to be a good day. How about that? It's going to be a good day.
And something else, you probably aren't ready to announce your starting lineup, but do you have an idea of where you want to go with
You
the
got some
lineup?
good questions today, don't you? Huh? You're so right. Bob used to have that question there, but somebody beat you to it, Bob. No, I have not. We got a couple of practice between now and then, and we'll go from there. We had same guy started in exhibition games, and then of course I think the second half of the last exhibition game, I think we changed it up a little bit. So we'll see. That'll be determined here in the next couple of practices.
Looking out for in Daniel's college debut, and do you feel like the teams are ready to open the season with real games that count?
Yeah, I think our guys are ready to play somebody. They're tired of beating up on each other. They're tired of hearing me just chomping on the bits, getting on them, with certain things, and so it gets kind of monotonous. And when it started getting physical and real testy, we had a practice on Monday, and it was probably one of our most physical. I'm talking about guys were just kind of going at each other. And I was just happy to get out of that practice with nobody going down. So hopefully they are ready to go and play someone other than themselves. And of course, it's that time of the year. It's the season opener, and in terms of Daniel, just continue to progress. That's all I want him to do. Come out and do the things he's been doing in practice. I always talk about taking your practice to the game, so that hadn't changed. And I want him to come out with the understanding of just bring your practice to the game. You don't have to do anything spectacular. And if you do that, then we're going to be okay.
And Coleman, who played at Alabama, I know he had a great game here. I think when he was a freshman, he hadn't played, so I don't know if he's hurt or what. But what do you remember about him?
Well, yeah, we recruited him. I mean, he's a quick little, just real smart player. He's like a coach out on the floor. He can create for others, and he can shoot the basketball as well. And he loves big moments, and he loves big stages, as he showed. I mean, there was a team we had. Bobby and them was here. I mean, this kid he was unbelievable that night. So, but he's someone I know about. He's from the same city I'm from, but he gives them a guy that's played at this level, that's played in this building. So he can be that little leader, that little coach on the floor for them. And so we got to prepare for, again, not only him. I think the Cunningham kid is a very, very good basketball player. He led the league in assists. And then, of course, they have a young guy, I think, Shaky, little guard, who led the league in steals. So they got a really good basketball team. Transferring Thompson, the kid that played at Auburn, a stretch forward, can really shoot the basketball. It's a team that shoots three-pointers. They've shot, I think, half of their shots in the 2 exhibition games have been three-pointers, and they make them too. So that's going to be our charge. Is we got to not only find those guys, identify them, and run them off the line, but we got to rebound the shots. So there's going to be a lot of long rebounds.
And Bobby, that remind me, I think he had 24 and 13 last night in his first game off the suspension. What'd you think of that, and have you talked to him lately?
He had 21 and 13, I think. But I watched it, and he played really well. He was really focused, and he was really dialed in. It was really glad to see him just, dialed in and helping his basketball team. Looked like the Bobby that played here. I mean, he's out there creating, making other guys better. He's relentless on the boards. He's running the floor, offensive rebound. I always thought Bobby was a great offensive rebound. And of course, when you play at that level there, you got to make open shots as a big guy. And of course, we know his range. He can step out and shoot it as well. But it just seemed like he was playing that humble and hungry guy that we know. I was proud of him. I sent him a text after the game, and of course, he's got another game, I think, maybe tonight. So he moves on to the next game. I think he said those the 2 weeks or the 3 weeks, some things were taken away from him. He don't ever want that feeling anymore. I saw a quote where he said that, and that's a humbling person there.
With as much as they shoot threes, does that maybe change the way that you defend the pick and roll, kind of like you did on Friday? Maybe switch so that guys don't have to help off?
We got to mix it up. I think we got to keep them guessing. I think that is true. It's like anything else. If people are burning you doing something over and over again, and because they want to do is spread the floor, then you got to be able to make the adjustment. And so we've got to make the adjustment and make it a lot sooner than we did the other night.
How's Adrian look this weekend?
Much better. Much better. Looked more instinctive. He looked more like he got the message. And the message is that you just got to go out and just play your heart out. Just be a junkyard dog, man. Just go do all the little things that that got you in that position. So hopefully, the exhibition game. That's what those exhibition games are for. To see the temperament or see the mindset of guys. And so now, as we get ready for lights, camera, and action, where it's for real. Now, hopefully, we've had a little dress rehearsal. Now the real deal is ahead of us now.